Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for Friday, January 31st. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over the core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel. In the morning, I'll be listing my morning injury report that will have all the injury reports for all 12 teams in play for this main slate. There's 7 games in total on the day, only 6 games on the main slate. There is one late night game, but there are no teams on the back-to-back, so this should be a pretty straight-up slate. We might get some news throughout the day. We might get some news after lock that potentially changes some things, but overall should be pretty straight up. We'll have an updated core about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock, or as those changes do become available. And then I will also be listing as many of the starting lineups as I can get to down in the comment section as well. So definitely make sure you're checking up down there, especially as we do get closer to lock. But with that being said, we'll get started on the DraftKings side. We're going to start off with Vasily Micic of the Charlotte Hornets. He's $5,500, looking for 27-28 out of him, averaging just 16 on the season. But no LaMelo Ball, so he should be in that starting lineup once again. Played pretty well the last game. He struggled for the most part in that starting role so far this season. Hopefully we're on the good side of things once again. Currently I'm projected for 28, might have a little bit of upside for more. Kind of an interesting matchup, him and James Harden, two of the guys that are probably the least willing defenders at that point guard position just in general. So could be some upside for both those guys offensively in this matchup as well. Then we move down to shooting guard with Kelly Oubre Jr. He's been in the core picks multiple times this week. He's still only $6,300, looking for 31-32 out of him. Currently, I'm projected for 34. A little bit slower pace matchup versus the Denver Nuggets. But if it's not broken, don't fix it at this point in time. Keep playing Kelly Oubre Jr. until his price tag is what it should be, especially with no Paul George once again. And then we're going to move down to small forward with Kawhi Leonard, $6,900, looking for 34-35 out of him. Coming off a really strong performance, goes against Charlotte Hornets. His minutes have been up as of late. If you look at what he's done so far on the season, only averaging 27 fantasy points per game on the season, but very limited minutes in that sample size. Good, attractive matchup versus the Charlotte Hornets. Definitely do love his upside in this one. Currently, I'm projected for 36-37. Looks like a really good value play overall. And then we move down to power forward with Harrison Barnes, who's been playing really well as of late. So he's $4,700, looking for 23-24 out of him. And he's been outperforming that price tag for the most part as of late. So definitely do like that upside once again. Maybe a little bit tougher matchup versus the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll see if he's guarding Giannis most of the time or if it's Victor Wembanyama getting the matchup versus Giannis. But with that being said, probably the only way that Harrison Barnes doesn't pay off as this price tag is if he gets into foul trouble against Giannis, or, he starts losing out on minutes to like Jeremy Sohan or somebody else at that point in time. But as of late, been a pretty solid, safe contributor for the Spurs team overall. And with that all being said, currently I'm projected for about 26. Definitely does have some upside for more at the same time as well. And then last but not least, we're going down to Visa Zubac of the Los Angeles Clippers as well, $7,500. We're looking for 37-38 out of him. Very attractive matchup versus the Charlotte Hornets, where he's going against Taj Gibson and Moussa Diabate. So a very, very good matchup for him just in general. Expect a big night out of Zubac. Currently, I'm projected for 40 points, but definitely has some pretty strong upside for even more at the same time as well. Currently averaging just under 39 fantasy points per game on the season. Been a really strong year for him overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you got $19,100 remaining, just under $6,400 remaining per player. So looking a little bit more like a balanced build type of day. We'll see if any other value does ultimately end up opening up throughout the day as well. But with that being said, we'll move down to FanDuel, talk about my core picks over there as well. So on the FanDuel side at point guard, we're going to start off with Vasily Micic of the Charlotte Hornets. Once again, he's $5,300 on FanDuel, so just a little bit cheaper, looking for 26-27 out of him. Currently having projected for 28. A very interesting matchup, him and James Harden, as I kind of mentioned on DraftKings. Both these guys are probably the 2 least willing defenders at their point guard spot, so could be a very good offensive output for both them just in general. Micic kind of underwhelmed so far this season when in that starting lineup, but no LaMelo Ball. He's out there once again. Played better in his most recent game, so I do expect that type of upside out of him to be a little bit better than we've seen for the most part this season. But if you don't want to play him, definitely do understand it at the end of the day as well. Then we're going to move down to shooting guard with Malik Beasley of the Detroit Pistons. He's $5,200. He's playing really well as of late. Outperformed this price tag his last 3 games. Been coming off the bench, but still scoring the ball really well. Looking for 26 out of him. Averaging just over 24 so far in the season. Currently, I'm projected for 27 in this matchup. Could be a pretty good back and forth pace spot just in general. So definitely do like his upside, especially in tournaments just in general for this slate. But then we're going to move down to small forward with Kawhi Leonard. $7,000. Pretty much everything I said on DraftKings still applies. So he's been playing limited minutes for the most part. Minutes went up his most recent game, been his best game of the season. Goes against the Charlotte Hornets. Looking for 35 out of him, averaging just under 27 so far on the season. Currently, I'm projected for 37 on the FanDuel side. Could have a little bit of upside for more if this game remains competitive and if those minutes are there once again for him. Then we move down to power forward on the opposite end of the game with Miles Bridges, $8,100. No LaMelo Ball, so he's essentially getting all the usage he can handle in the world. Looking for 40, 41 out of him, and he's currently averaging just under 35.5 fantasy points per game. A little bit tougher matchup versus the Clippers. They are a pretty good defensive team outside of James Harden, but with all the usage, if that shot's going down, Miles Bridges has a ton of upside. Currently, I'm projected for 43. Might have even more upside for more at the end of the day as well, especially if this game does ultimately end up remaining competitive. And then last but not least, we're going down to the opposite end of that game with Ivica Zubac, $7,700. Looking for 38, 39 out of him, averaging just over 38 so far on the season. Think he easily gets to 40 in this game, has a ton of upside for more because he's going against Taj Gibson and Moussa Diabate at that opposing center position. So he's going to be able to do pretty much whatever he wants all night versus those two guys just in general. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you got $26,700 remaining. Just over $6,600 remaining per player. Looks a little bit more like a balance build type of day. We'll see if any other value does open up as the day moves along. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel for Friday, January 30th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then once again in the morning, I will be listing my morning injury report. That will have the injury reports for all 12 teams in play for the 6-game main slate on both sites. And then throughout the day, I'll be listing all the injury updates as they do come out down in the comment section of this video, as well as my updated core about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock. That will be left as a pinned comment. If there's any other additional changes after that point in time, I will leave them as a reply to that pinned comment. And then I will also be posting as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening as well down in that comment section. So definitely make sure you're checking up down there, especially as we do get closer to lock. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we really just have NBA DFS going on in terms of the core pick videos, Tuesday through Friday. In the near future, trying to do some NFL draft content. Next month, we'll be starting up UFL DFS. We'll be starting up MLB DFS, so definitely on the lookout for all that. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Prize Picks, and Parlay Play. If you're a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you'll get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport. Be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS for Friday, January 31st.